Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. We are very happy to have you guys here with us today. And of course, we're going to be getting into some interesting news. We got some pretty fascinating stuff lined up today, some actual news, which is weird. And I see you guys are already talking about one bit of news we're definitely going to be getting into. But we appreciate you guys and very happy to see you in here with us. Do keep in mind, we have all our links down below. Definitely check those things out. And of course, as usual, being that we are live streamers, please hit that share button. But happy to see so many people in here so early. We got Roger in here. We got Bullet, Todd, of course, from IndieCom TV. I also see Jennifer in here. Hello, Jennifer. A nice little crowd starting out. And of course, we're going to do our comics news today. And then an hour after that, we're going to do the fan edition. And that's always fun. Drawing a quarter. We got some really cool stuff we're going to be doing today. But nevertheless, Denali, how you doing, man?
Namaste. I'm doing fantastic. It's very strange news. We're actually talking news and
Yeah,
not just headline. But those are the rolls. You roll it and you see what the day brings out to you. And every day is always a stranger and stranger
it is.
day.
It is.
I think
It
I
is.
think we shifted another dimension last night because we're actually talking about news.
Yeah. Well, we usually try to have a good laugh at some silly stuff and mock things. Is what we do mainly here. We don't take things so too seriously, but occasionally, yeah, you got to cover some real stuff and give it an actual opinion, and that's all good. Although it is funny sometimes some of the comments. I don't do a lot of responding directly to the comments in the YouTube segment below. I mean, I'll read them and I'll like them, and occasionally I'll say something, but I don't do a lot of that because I prefer people to come up in here and talk to us, but
Hmm.
I do occasionally see some people have a slight misconception that we're some kind of news show or something. We're kind of actual journalists or something like that, and no, no. We're a bunch of fans and we're a bunch of friends that just together get together and have a hoot over some of the absolute inanity of the world. And yeah, I use that word. You can look it up if you'd like.
Oh
Uh,
boy, throwing some teacher vocabulary there. That's your homework, kids.
there you go, guys. Of course, I'm sure most of them actually know what it means. But gotta keep that arrogant character up, right? It's important, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
nevertheless, um, one of the things one of the people I really like to watch on YouTube, and occasionally we'll recommend people we enjoy. Um, and we're going to get into a story today that kind of covers something like that. But one of my favorite YouTubers to watch is the Rageaholic, Razor Fist. You ever watch him?
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh,
From time to time.
Now he's quite vulgar, and that puts off
Yeah.
some people. I get that, but I understand he's scripted most of the time. Once again, I get that too. But that dude is one of the best orators I've ever seen, dude. He's just insanely good at it. He has such a great grasp of the English language and the ability to emote. In such a fantastic way. I mean, I really like him. If you guys haven't checked out the Rageaholic is the name of his channel, he is Razor Fist. Just it's vulgar. Keep that in mind. If you can get past that, just go listen to his orating skills, his ability to speak English. It's impressive, dude. It's really impressive. You agree? You think?
You know what? I haven't seen his video that much.
Hmm.
So I can't honestly agree because I don't really have a good
I see.
memory
Yeah.
of his videos and content to to say yes or no about it. But give the guy a chance.
Yeah, no,
That's what
check
I
it out.
say.
Yeah, check it
Yeah.
out. And because I have being a teacher, I have English teacher, I have a lot of respect for the English language itself. And there's another person who is very interesting when it comes to that kind of stuff. We're going to get to the news in a minute. We know there's a
Mhm.
couple other people are coming. We're just kind of killing a little bit of time. But
Right.
the another person who
Anticipation.
I thought was really fascinating was Barack Obama, because if that dude had a written script, I mean, he strode that fence between the Sunday preacher and the politician so wonderfully. I mean, beautifully. Some of his speeches were just absolutely drop you on the ground. Really good. But then if he didn't wasn't scripted and had nothing in his hand, was just having to talk off the top of his head, he was horrible. I mean, horrible. I'd never seen such a
Commodity.
no, no, not but it is a commodity to be
Yeah.
able to do that. But no, just such
Right.
a disparity between a written speech and an open-ended, off the top of your head speech from the same
Right.
person. Those people tend to be pretty skilled at both, right? But he's not. He's a
Right.
horrible speaker,
Well,
actually. But it's he was a really fascinating character. Where Trump, on the other hand, is kind of interesting as well because Trump doesn't have the heights. Although he's given a couple of speeches that were actually pretty good, but he doesn't have the heights of Obama on a scripted speech. He doesn't. But
no,
that
he
dude
needs to go.
never has a script,
Right. He just
and
needs to hire the that speech make writer and
right,
say, hey,
right.
and just do it. It's
Yeah,
like,
but in a way, I think that's one of the things people like about him because he's always off the cuff. He's always off the top of his head. He's really good at it, you know.
no, no,
But
no. I would just have him do it just to be a troll and make it so
nah,
much like Obama, and then just be like, okay, I said it like Obama. Do you still hate me now?
yeah,
Yes.
I just
Moving,
don't
and
think
then just move on.
I don't think he could deliver it though at that level.
You, you,
The
you,
one thing about him that people never really see that people
yeah.
don't seem to get, especially those California elite types. Trump
Hmm.
is blue collar. I know he's a billionaire. I get that, but he's blue collar dude. And
Yeah, blue collar billionaire.
yeah, well, he is though, and I lived in New York a lot, and I was in and out around that area all the time. Anyway, he is no different than anyone else from Brooklyn or the Queens or whatever. He's a New Yorker. He's a blue collar New Yorker, and he doesn't sound different. He doesn't come off different. He's exactly that. And if you're not used to that, then I guess it's maybe it's a little bit of can we call it racism to hate New Yorkers? Is that
No,
racism? Let's call
I
it race.
see.
I'm going to call it racism. That's what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, they put all their R's there, so don't call them a pirate.
All right.
Yeah,
Let's see. We have a Bur High End Brian, I guess is what it
yeah,
is. It says, I only know about this channel because of Alterna ad in Unit 44, but I'm glad I subbed. Well, dude, awesome. Glad to have you
yeah.
here. And yeah, no, Peter Samedi has been so wonderful to us. I can't even thank him enough because we did buy an ad
Hmm.
in his alternate comic books because we had a contest here on the show, an art contest, which gave us our icons and things like that. It was great. It was a lot of fun, and we of course we paid for it for
Yeah.
to put it in that comic. But Peter just kind of threw him in a whole bunch of stuff. Just because he's a nice guy and he's supporting what we're doing, and that was we didn't ask him to do that. He just did it. So I mean, thank you, Mr. Samedi. Right? I mean, it's awesome,
All
dude.
right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Uh,
So,
I think the word you're
no.
looking for is puppet. Well, thank you, Bill. All right.
Don't
Uh,
get it twisted now.
oh, Obama, yeah. But no, I
Yeah.
mean, you got to give the guy credit in some ways, right? I mean, he was
Right.
a feckless president. I get that, but man, when he was scripted, that guy can speak. He's a great speaker, dude.
And I
Um,
think a lot of people remember his great speaking more than what he actually's done
well, he
on
didn't do
screen.
anything. I think is what it comes down in the end. And
Right.
the few things he did were actually kind of troublesome, actually. But he was a great
Right.
speaker. Another really good
Yeah.
speaker we've had, interestingly, a different type of speaker, of course, is Bill Clinton. He was really good. He was down to earth, sitting down with you, having apple pie type of speaker, right? And he was really good at that.
Right.
And
And play
Ronald
the saxophone.
and played the saxophone. That's right, he did, and he wasn't a bad player either. And of course, Ronald Reagan had a certain way about him. But Ronald Reagan was kind of the perfect presidential politician, though. I mean, he had both sides of that thing reined right in.
Well,
And
I mean, he did have experience as both as a mayor, then as a governor, before he ran for office. So it wasn't a circus show. at that time.
No, no, and of course
Yeah,
he had a long career as an actor as well. He's in a lot
exactly.
of westerns. But Ronald Reagan, I think, was probably the best example. He's not as great an orator as say Obama was, but Reagan just had this ability where everyone respected and liked him. I mean, both sides of the aisle, right? He was really good at that. And we haven't had one since. We haven't had anyone who's really been able to cross that aisle well. Maybe the closest would be Bill.
All right.
Bill is that's a train wreck, dude. Um, I, Zoe Quinn, have become death. Oh, the Oppenheimer quote. Very nice, Bianca. Let's. We were waiting for a couple people, but that was an interesting little chat, Denali. But let's go do our
Yeah,
news, huh? Uh,
absolutely. They're waiting for it.
they are,
Uh,
yeah. So let me go over here and share this out, and we'll get right into that, guys. All right, here we go. First story. Oof, we're starting out heavy today, guys.
right. So this is from The Verge. I think a lot of you who peruse from YouTube and the internet uh, probably heard about a certain YouTuber called PewDiePie and his 100 million subs congratulation video and unboxing. And in that video, he announces as part of that special unboxing and everything that he's going to donate $50,000 to a charity, and that charity happens to be the Anti Defamation League.
The
Um,
ADL. Interesting.
right, right, and uh, rightly so. A lot of people started voicing their concern of how PewDiePie could be donating $50,000 to a organization that's, uh, I guess I'm correct in saying in this context, hell bent on getting him deplatformed, and a lot of YouTubers
Sure.
as well for the content that they are talking about in the subject matters that they're speaking about.
Mhm.
So, after a couple days of this, PewDiePie made another video where he apologized his mistake, saying that he really wasn't aware what the ADL was about, that somebody told him that, he should donate to this charity. And then when he stepped back and looked about it, because he said he was in the middle of getting married, doing that special videos and other things, that he thought it was nothing, and he
Mhm.
pulls back the $50,000. Now, a lot of YouTubers are rightly predicting that the left organizations are going to start backlashing, saying that PewDiePie bent the knee to the trolls and haters and all that
Oh
stuff.
no,
Uh,
we got to say alt right. That's going to come up a lot. Alt right will come up a
yeah,
lot. Yeah,
a lot of alt-right.
Nazis. All those words. Oh, that word I'm not supposed to say. Shh. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah, this is a funny article to me because it's quite ironic that YouTube and many other groups are using, ADL, which, if you don't know what the ADL is, Anti-Defamation League, it really was set up in, I think, 1913, 1915, something like that.
Right.
And it was created to protect against anti-Semitism. It's a Jewish organization created to protect Jews, right, and their interests, and which is fine and of it to itself. But they've done a lot of stuff over the years, and they've created a lot of laws and a lot of things that are quite troublesome. Actually, especially for anyone who stands for free speech, whether you like that speech or not. But of course, the interesting thing is YouTube uses a lot of their guidelines for their kind of nonsense, and other groups too. But at the same time, we know these progressive, socialist, Marxist, communist, whatever you want to call them, fascist even, they hate Jews. It is an interesting thing, isn't it? Because they really do not like the Jewish state, dude. But yet they take their lead from the ADL. So it's almost as if they don't really know what the ADL is. We have things like the NW, the N, what is it called? The black organization which tries to help black people. The N, NW, what do they call that? I can't think of it, but
Um,
you guys know what I'm talking about. I just can't think of it offhand. And they do good things and they do bad things. I think a more, maybe a more astute analogy would be the Southern Poverty Law Center, because that is an absolute tyrannical and hateful group. Sounds like it should be a nice thing. And they take a lot of their lead from them too, and those guys are horrible. I don't know if the ADL is as bad, but if you do any research into their history, you'll find out that these people are freaking vampires, dude. I mean, it is what it is, and it has nothing to do with anti-Semitism either. It has to do with using political power to gain power and hurt other people. That's what I look at it from a point of view. I don't care what the race of the people or the religion of the people involved is, right? But it's an interesting little kerfuffle going on here with PewDiePie, which he tends to find himself in from time to time, doesn't he?
Right. I mean, he's always in the news, and unfortunately, we I try not to get PewDiePie talking about it because everybody else is already talking about
Hmm.
PewDiePie. I try to look at other news that nobody really else is talking about as much as possible.
Sure.
But because of the ADL
Hmm.
content, I think it's very appropriate to talk about him because the ADL affects about everything that we try to do, whether it's YouTube, Kickstarter, Indiegogo. A lot of companies is using ADL as a standard in their policy that if you know, use whatever terminology or whatever that's in the ADL, then that's the excuse for the company to remove you or
Yeah.
whatnot.
And they have a lot more influence in Europe. I mean, you can get into real
Mhm.
trouble, innocently in Europe because of that. I mean, look at what happened to and thank you very much, guys. The NAACP. Just a side note
Yeah.
on them. Those guys do good things and bad things, right? I mean, it's not all bad. It's not all good. But they can be troublesome. But the guy who taught his pug to Zig Heil. Um, what's his name? He's friends with Jeremy and Sargon of Akkad, and oh, I can't remember his name off. You guys know who I'm
Count
talking.
Dracula? Was it Count?
Count Dankula. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Count
Dracula.
Dankula.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's freaking hilarious, right? But the look at the absolute insanity that is Britain, where they actually tried to bring a guy up on charges, put him in prison because he taught his dog to Zig Heil when he saw an Adolf Hitler video. That's funny,
Well,
dude. What you've
right.
lost your damn mind. You've lost
Now,
your damn
now,
mind.
now they're against the now it's against the law because of Article 13 in the European Union, which the
So
UK
there's an
is still
article, you cannot teach your dog to Zig Heil. That's nice. That's a nice
because
addition to a
yeah,
constitutional
it
article. It's good. It's good.
yeah, it's because it's a meme, and it now not only does he can't teach it, he gets taxed on it as well.
Holy cow, man. I mean, think
So
about this for a minute, though, guys. Think about the insanity that a government, an actual big world government, Britain is not a small thing, right? A government in the world will actually try to throw you in jail. Of course, they failed because of all the backlash, but they wanted to put a guy in jail because he taught his dog to Zig Heil as a joke to tick off his girlfriend, right? Think about
right,
it. That's absolutely way beyond the pale. Someone needs to go over there and drop kick the lot of them because they just need to be slapped into sense, dude. It's insane.
yeah, again, it's like Europe is forgetting the whole reason why World War II happened.
Well,
You
no, I'm
know,
not, and I'm not forgetting World War One is either. And knowing that
yeah,
the absolutely crazy things that Britain was doing, and it's funny that ultimately other people get blamed for those two wars. Ultimately, it comes down to Germany, of course. But in the end, though, if you go back and actually study those two wars, Britain is the
yeah,
one that made both of them happen. Ultimately, they were responsible. But no one says that, especially because of all the horrible things Germans did toward the end of the war, right? And it's easy to blame them because it was bad, right? But they didn't really start that. That was Britain caused that, you know. And if it didn't go
well,
as ugly as it did, I tell you what though, if it was just more of a standard war and it didn't go to such a dark place, I wonder what history would look at it now as, but you can't get
it would
past it.
it would be a conflict.
Yeah,
That's what it would have
yeah.
been, a conflict between these two nations.
Political ideals or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and then and I think the world would actually be a lot different. I think it would be more
maybe. Yeah.
not a war as big as a world power as we
Mhm.
were
Yeah.
because they basically Europe made us into a world power just to keep, them dropping their trash on our store devs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all moot now because
Yeah,
what happened did happen. So I mean, it is what it is. But
right,
it's it is interesting article here, and of course, I don't
right.
know if you guys have noticed this the whole time we've been chatting about this rather sensitive topic, I'd say. And have you guys noticed the whole time we've been here, and this picture of PewDiePie, you see he has the Celtic cross on his collar, right?
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Aggressively relaxing. Search Comic Live show. What's this channel? The British government should be drop giving because they start World War I and II.
Amongst other things, aggressively relaxing, yes. But he's trolling by wearing this Celtic cross. And of course, if you go and study the Celtic cross, you'll understand that it has very little to do with the Nazis at all. It's quite an old symbol. It has nothing to do with their fascism, right? But he's doing that on purpose, dude. He's doing that on purpose because PewDiePie does not give a flip, dude. And that's what people love about him. Back to comics, you hippies. All right, fine.
Yes.
God, see, I can't get into history stuff. Oh, here we go. Enjoy this one, Bill. Take it.
Yeah. From AV News. Hasbro's releases a new Miss Monopoly game addressing gender gap, but
Tell him
not
how. Tell
realizing
him how. It's awesome.
I don't even know
Oh,
where
okay.
to
I
start.
read the article.
Yeah.
But no, this game, Ms. Monopoly,
Hmm.
or Miss Monopoly. I do apologize. Um,
Miss.
yeah,
Yes.
Miss Monopoly.
Yeah.
Basically, in this game, you're actually supporting inventors and stuff like that instead of buying properties. But when you go around Go, you know how when you go around Go in Monopoly, everyone gets $200, but if you're a woman playing the game, you get $240 because it's time, baby. It's time, and I think it's hilarious, man. It's just amazing. They come out with a socialist monopoly, which is mocking everybody and everyone. Uh,
Oh, we need to get that game, Chester. We need to get that game and just play it on the
we
air
should
one
do
of
it on
these days.
tabletop, dude. That would be.
Yeah.
We should do a tabletop on Bugbear's basement and play it. I think it'd be hilarious. But well, excuse me. Anyway, so they mocking the hell out of everybody with socialist monopoly. Then they come out with this, which is mocking everybody else. So it's like either Hasbro is genius or they've lost their mind too, and it just happens to be ironically funny. But
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. And what do you guys
Well,
think?
remember they did buy Death Row Records,
They
so
did, dude.
yeah,
I think they're smoking something over there, dude. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure they are.
So they're going bow wow yippee yo. I bet you they're gonna come out with the Rapper Paradise
Maybe.
edition.
Is that under Death Row though? The that was a good song though, dude.
I think so.
Coolio, is that
I
Coolio? I think it's Coolio.
It's Coolio.
Yeah, it
Coolio.
is a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, you guys might be shocked, but I do appreciate me some hip hop music, the hippity hop music. I do. There's, well, though there's some good rhythms in there, dude. There's some really good stuff. I don't really care much for what they're talking about because it's the real big difference between the hippity hop stuff and other music is other music's talking about love or lost love or trying to get love back or mainly it's talking about that. But the hippity hop stuff that's all talking about me, 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 me. Right? It's very different, right? Other music doesn't do like that. So it's kind of interesting, but they do have some great beats though, and there's some very clever people involved in those music. So Chester does appreciate the rapping from time to time, although I wouldn't dare to do it. Let me see. Ha ha ha. Draw Zora. She is hot. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but anything hot, I appreciate. The hippity hop music, Chester 2019. I agree with Eric. I prefer Amish Paradise as well because Weird Al Yankovic is a treasure, a national treasure for sure. Bunny rabbit music. Yeah, hippity hop music, Kuzmeti. Yeah, it's a hippity hop.
Oh boy.
Well, you know the funny thing is, of course, I'm being sarcastic, but I
Right.
grew up with that stuff. I'm actually
Right.
from that generation. When it first came out, and hip hop breakdancing was the first, came on the scene. I was actually in a breakdancing crew in my junior high school. So take that. There you go.
Oh boy.
Old
All
man.
right.
But this article doesn't have anything else to say beyond that. I guess I
Yeah.
didn't. The only thing interesting to me was the 200 and 240 thing. So it's just funny. I think it's hilarious, and because some people are getting really upset about it, but why? It's just another sign of the times, dude. Sock hops, dude. I've been to sock hops. Sock hops are awesome, man. You ever been to a sock hop, Denali?
No, I don't think I have been.
Sock hops are great. I like sock hops, man. I like a girl in a
Mm,
nice short cut sock. It's kind of sexy, man. Yeah. I was actually in a breakdancing crew, Nick. I was. Let's move on here. Uh, oh, this is not surprising news, but go ahead. This is a quick one.
right. So this is a Polygon. Disney Plus will do a free 2-week trial in the Netherlands,
Oh,
and part of this free trial they will include all of the '90s X-Men and all the other Marvel anime series.
sure. Why not? I mean, why wouldn't they?
So
Right?
right, but we see what they're playing. This is their game to get us hooked. They're say, here's your childhood, come and watch it.
Sure.
You want to watch it.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That was good. That was a good show. It was a good show. And there's other ones too. Like there's been one or two Spider-Mans that were pretty good as well. But
Right.
yeah, no, there's some of the animation is pretty good. Although I think we all agree that DC does animation better than Marvel, though.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean they kind of knocked that out of the park. Um, but which has always been funny to me because, and I think we talked about this before, but it's always been funny to me because for me, Marvel has a better naming convention than DC does because DC's Superman, Aquaman, everything is man. Now Marvel has some of that too, Spider-Man, of course, but they also have Wolverine and Cyclops and Rogue, and as we're looking here in this picture, I just thinking the naming conventions are better. But yet when you go and look at it, DC is actually more adult comic than Marvel tends to be, right? In general. So
Right.
it's interesting. But yeah, of course Disney Plus
Well,
is going to do
well,
this.
right.
It's
Well,
good.
it depends on what era as well for DC because sometimes they're more comic, more kids, and then they're more adults. At certain time, really, I guess it really depends on the writer and storyline they're doing. Um,
True.
at
Yeah.
times, it's an ebb and flow between the two
Yeah,
companies.
I'll take that. And
Yeah.
Eric Hawkins says sock hops, breakdancing, though rap was better in the '80s. Well, you know why? Because it was fun. It was all about fun. I mean, think about the songs we had, like "The Bird" and the Fat Boys talking about hamburgers and stuff like that. It was fun. And then you had this Death Row record guys, with Ice Cube and the like, and they're just talking about killing and hating and me, 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 me. It changed. In the beginning, it was just fun. It was good, fun music. It was fun dance music. They were, it was colorful and bright and energetic and youthful, and it just turned into this ugly, gangster, hateful thing, man. I mean, it's too bad, but it is what it is. Bullet says, and DC is more about god-like characters, and Marvel is more street level. It's true. That is true. That is true. I just think that DC does an adult-themed storyline a lot better than Marvel does usually. Uh, you know, 90s Marvel animation was solid. Yeah, it was, and it was a good show, good storytelling. It was fun. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Denali.
Right. So from Screen Rant, Joker's Rotten Tomato score drops after the tiff of early reviews. So basically, now that everybody's liking Joker, the critic must hate the
Of course.
Joker.
Of course.
So they're giving him negative reviews and everything. Um,
And I still haven't heard a good reason why. Is it just because it's male led? Because that kind of seems to be the the gist of it. It's male led, and that's about the only thing I can see them complaining about. I
well, it's
don't
not
I
even
don't
melding; it's
understand.
the whole clown thing, and it's gonna make people, you know, promote. whatever crazy idea they are,
Hmm.
kind of deal. I mean, I think there was a Heather Santos uh, tweeting a couple days ago that we didn't touch about this about alluding that this movie would promote other people to do what that guy did in The Dark Knight
Which is ridiculous.
Rises.
How many
Right.
damn studies do we have to prove that people don't respond to video games and other things like that? It's not how our brain works. They've done so many studies over and over, and they don't care the results, I guess. But this has already won the Golden Lion Award from Venice, and they say it's coveted. But I kind of wonder because I don't know anything about it. But I kind of wonder if it is really coveted anymore because our Oscars is become a complete joke. Many of the award ceremonies we have in the West are just a joke now. So I'm kind of wondering if the Golden Lion is it really coveted or has it become a joke as well, all about identity politics and stuff. I have no clue. But
Well,
I don't know what to say.
well, the only positive thing indication is if the critic hates it, then it has to be a good movie.
Maybe.
Um,
Yeah, it sounds
it's
like it is,
a
right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. You just have to come into the mind if you're expecting the Joker from the comics. It's not going to be that. It's really a character study for it.
Hmm.
Um, and
Well, you know,
that's fine.
I'm going to make a prediction here, and this
Hmm.
might be a spoiler. How can I say how it could be a spoiler? It's a prediction, but I'm going to make a prediction here. I
Hmm.
think that this, from what I've seen in the trailers and stuff, I think it's completely all in his mind. I think the whole thing, the whole storyline, the whole movie is a delusion of his, and nothing is happening in it as he's perceiving it. And we're going to be seeing through his eyes and also not through his eyes. Now, when we not see through his eyes, will it be toward the end or will it be continuously throughout the show? And I have a feeling, Dinelli, that somewhere
Hmm.
along the line, I think we're going to see a Joker comic book sitting on a table. Seriously. I think this story is completely about schizophrenia or some other type of mental disease,
Well,
and
I
it
mean, they're
has
taking
nothing to do with what we're seeing. This isn't really
right.
happening. I
Yeah.
feel so. Um,
Yeah. I think some of the articles, some of the reviews alluded to that
yeah, no, I've
suggestions.
seen that as well. I have, yeah.
And I think King of Comedy, which is a Martin Scorsese movie with
Robert De Niro.
Robert De
Well,
Niro.
it's the
Yeah,
same story. It's a remake of
yeah,
it.
it's the same.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. Yeah. Um,
so
yeah.
watch that, and you'll probably get the same vibe, the same idea
Mhm.
with the Joker.
It's not a bad movie,
No,
but
no,
I
no.
do think the twist on that because they're not going to copy it completely. I think the twist is that nothing we're seeing is actually real. And actually, to be fair, in the King of Comedy, you're not quite sure what's real either. To be
Right,
fair, I don't want to spoil that movie because it's a pretty good one. It's Scorsese. You should go check it out. But I really think we're going to see a Joker comic sitting somewhere in his house toward the end of the movie. I think we're going to see it because I think he's emulating something in his head which he saw, which is how they're going to get away from not being a Joker movie. You know what I mean?
right.
I think it would be
Or
absolute genius if they did that, though, dude. It would be pure
or
genius.
or we move back the camera and he's in Arkham Asylum, and then that's how they'll get him
Oh, maybe,
to
maybe, yeah.
to fight
That's a way to do
fight.
it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of thoughtful design going on at DC. If you think you want to hear about thoughtful design, well,
Oh
let's talk
boy.
about that. No, hold on.
Yeah,
We have diverted into something that needs speaking about.
right.
Here's your thoughtful design, sir. Enjoy, like a sour
From bounding
pickle.
into right. From bounding into comics. Zoe Quinn to write DC Comics Batman and Superman spinoff The Infected Deathbringer.
Hmm.
Wow. A little bit on the nose on this one.
A
A
little
little
bit,
bit.
yeah, little rough there, a little bit rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the infected Deathbringer.
A story of a hero who's done with bringing peace to a world that cannot be trusted with it. A woman whose newly awakened dark side is ready to burn it all and forge a new destiny.
Mm,
Hmm,
mm,
hmm,
mm.
hmm.
Sounds wonderful.
Wow.
Wonderful. Yeah, this is gonna bomb like a crazy. It's gonna be a bomb crazy. But you know what's gonna happen though? DC will have to pull this. There's no way because it's not just accusation now. The autistics have gone out and dug up a bunch of emails and all kind of other correspondence showing that she's 100% lied and 100% guilty. There's no question. Right, you got to watch out for the autistics, man. Those guys, man, they're like part of the internet. I think they've literally tapped in somehow. But so she's done, dude. She's got to be done. So I'm assuming DC will quietly just cancel this book or something, dude. I can't see them bringing it out. It would be really stupid move. I mean,
Yeah.
aside from the thing we keep talking about these people failing up, right? But
Right.
wow, dude.
Golden parachutes.
The golden parachute, yeah. But it's more than that. It isn't even a golden parachute. It's a golden jetpack, dude.
Oh yeah.
You know. Let's see here. Hellrod says the Joker score dropped because people actually saw it. Maybe it sounds more like critics are just trying to pan it as they do. We'll see. Bullet says, and I think this is. Oh, I already did that. Brian the Observer says, I did a review on Iron Jaw #1 today. I wonder who owns the rights to Atlas Seaboard these days. Eric says, Chester, the thoughtful design was about DC characters' logos compared to Marvel. Oh, I see. Well, it was funnier the way I did it anyway. Bullet says, I think they know what they're doing, helping mentally ill people fail upward. Yeah, they do. You're right, Bullet. It's compassion. It's a charitable action. I'll go with that. Nick C says, DC just shut the doors and throw away the key. Well, we're going to get into that here in a moment. I'm going to watch the trailer first, but we're going to finish the day talking about exactly that, dude. And it's interesting. Well, we'll get to that later. Willis says, "I bet money it comes out, Chester." You might be right, dude. But I mean, that's a silly move, though, right? I mean, they drop these super controversial things like hot potatoes, and which I don't blame them. But we'll see, Bullet. You might be right. Bianca says, I suspect that Zoe Quinn's time in the sun is just about over. You would hope so, but we keep seeing her failing up again. We keep seeing her getting more and more opportunity, even though she's this just horrible human. And she's far more disgusting thing than, say, Anita Sarkeesian. Now, we don't talk about Anita over here very much. She's very much connected to Gamergate, but all she is an opportunistic charlatan. That's it. She's not that much different than Barack Obama. I mean, it's pretty much what he was too. So, I mean, you can get angry at the unjustness of it, or the moral, uh, the, the moral the moral horribleness of it. My brain isn't working,
Right. Yeah.
but that's all she is. I mean, it's simple. Zoe is something way darker and way more ugly than Anita Sarkeesian, right? But interesting, interesting. So I'm going to watch a trailer now, and then we're going to get into two articles back to back that very interesting actually. But let's watch our trailer here because you know what our trailer is. You want to know what it is? It's freaking William Shatner. It's William Shatner. The 150-year-old man is at it again, dude. He just doesn't. He isn't going to go away. He's eternal, dude. He's eternal. And his brain is sharp as ever, dude. If you listen to him talking and stuff, of course, we're going to see with this trailer right here if it looks any good. But boy, he's just going and going, isn't he? Well,
Yeah.
you guys ready? I'm ready. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it.
He has purpose.
He does. I just wonder how much ultimately he's in the movie, though.
We got to get down there.
I know he ain't doing no climbing.
Paul? He's dead.
Oh no, Paul!
You're worried to death. Are you all right?
That's a red house.
Ran into some trouble.
Yeah.
Oh no, the devil.
Get me the hell out of here now.
He's with 7 of 9.
Yeah.
You must confront
Reprising her role.
My dad threatened to kill me today if I didn't find it and destroy it. This curse is more
Your father
powerful
threatened to
than
kill you.
anything
All right.
anyone's ever
Oh,
done.
oh, oh! I saw him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What are you doing? It's gonna kill you and everyone you love.
Oh,
Fine.
And this relic needs to be destroyed by all of
Ooh,
us.
it's B movie
You
time.
go back and you find it.
We're going with you.
Damn.
God.
Together we'll help
Damn.
find it.
The gods trapped it,
She's
sold
always
it to
the
a
same no
statue
matter what she
now as
does.
a relic.
Watch yourself.
You're all gonna die.
I gotta get rid of this curse against our family, otherwise we're never gonna be out of danger.
Damn, I want to see him in the
Is that-
cave, Dinale.
I got it.
I guess I should pause. It is a B movie. They're probably not
Yeah.
going to give me a hard time, but pause, pause, pause. Go. All right. Dad is in the cave.
My family's trapped and I need your help.
Oh,
LARPing, the hardcore level.
Defeat the devil. I'll distract him. Give you time to get Susan and the kids in.
well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Willie Shatner is a good actor, actually, and it looks like he's doing a good job in here. Matter of fact, the problem is he's standing out a little too much because everyone else is kind of below him. That's a problem. What's the girl's name? The Borg girl. I can't remember her name. Something
Jerry Ryan.
Jerry Ryan. Yeah, Jerry Ryan. She's all right. She's all right. She's okay. She's not a super strong actress, but I don't know. It's a B movie. It's got William Shatner in it. Go watch it. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Well,
It's a B movie.
you kind of remember the article we talked about where what I was reading is that I have to find a voice for 7 of 9 because the new 7 of 9 for the Bakar series doesn't have the same stilted voice. It doesn't go to my strength anymore. And I was so nervous until the director had to talk to me. And,
Yeah, Miss Ryan, or Mrs. Ryan probably. I do apologize. The only thing you did to make the Borg seem Borgish was move slowly. Yeah. Otherwise, everything I've ever seen her do is exactly the same, dude. Exactly the same. But that's okay. She was pretty.
Right.
She was a hottie. That's for damn sure. But Captain Kirk is back in the Nexus. Yeah, baby. I agree. We do love us some William Shatner. Here's the thing, though. Of course, he's famous for all the Star Trek stuff, and he did a great job with that. But, dude, him as Denny Crane in Boston Legal is my go-to for William Shatner. If you haven't
Mhm.
seen Boston Legal and him as Denny Crane, dude, he absolutely slayed that, man. He's funny. He's got a good sense of humor. That's him and Kevin Spader, I think his name is, right?
Right.
Yeah, something like that. But that was really good. Let me see here. Eric says,
Boston Legal, wasn't it?
yeah, Boston Legal. Yeah, Boston Legal.
Yeah.
Eric says, if you all haven't seen The Captains, a Shatner documentary where he talks with all the captains from the shows, you are missing out, especially the Avery Brooks segment. Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't seen that myself. Let me see here. Looks like stupid fun to me. Yeah, well, stupid fun's good. Shao
Yeah.
Kahn. Is that Shao Kahn? It kind of looked like Shao Kahn, didn't it, dude? William Shatner versus the devil. I'm in. Well, dude, it's not the first time. Actually, there's a William Shatner movie back from the I think it was 60s, late 60s, early 70s maybe, where he's facing the devil in that one too. I can't remember the name offhand, but yeah, T.J. Hooker was fun too. Yeah, he's a good
Yeah.
actor, man. He's freaking William Shatner. What do you want? Denny Crane, 2020. That is awesome. But yeah, okay, cool. I'm in. I'm gonna watch it for sure. All right, let's jump into our last two articles, which are actually connected. You guys know that we've been talking about a little bit here, talking about AT&T's purchase of Warner Brothers, and that they had an executive shift over there, I think. And
Oh yeah.
in the executive shift is a guy who doesn't care about much stuff. He just wants to chop things up and consolidate. He's just a suit, right? And he does what suits do. And yeah, he's starting. It's starting, dude.
Oh yeah. So it's official, guys. J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot with his wife Kathy officially closes the $5 million partnership with Warner Media Films, which will include creative control of upcoming films and TV shows for Warner Media. So they will be leading the direction of any foreseeable creative direction on a lot of properties, new and old, with this partnership deal.
Yeah. So and the next article I think is more telling actually. But the problem is the only thing that's coming to my mind looking at this article is how their noses were just made for each other, and wondering how exactly JJ has to climb on top of this woman because it's like he's going up the Matterhorn. Uh,
Oh, for
I mean, Jesus, man. Goodness gracious, sticking a fork in DC, dude. Yeah, no, right? Because really, what they're
right.
doing here is Bad Robot, the production company he runs with his wife and CEO. Okay, he just read this. Will have all of its divisions, including games and digital, under the same roof for the first time, which sounds like a good thing. But we're also seeing Warner Brothers being kind of cut up and digested in certain ways with by AT&T's move. Now, this next article
No,
here
yeah,
is directly involved. Go ahead.
right. And this is from Variety. Warner Media Rooster Teeth cut 13% of staff, laying about 50.
Hmm.
So those are redundant staff. You're going to see a whole lot of cuts, a lot of division and everything as they
Right.
consolidate. So it's already begun. Also notice, if you go back to the back article, if
Hmm.
you would, Chester, it says including games and digital. That
Yeah.
means any Montreal studios that made the Arkham Origins and upcoming, DC games are going to be affected as well. And because Warner Media owns Warner Brother, which owns DC, that means effectively J.J. Abram is in charge of DC comic books and
Yeah.
publishing.
Yeah. Making decisions and stuff while they're cutting things. And I'm not 100% sure on this. Someone in the chat, I'm sure, or Dinale will correct me, but
Mhm.
isn't one of Bad Robot's subsidiaries involved with Death Stranding? Kojima's Death Stranding? I thought they might have
Um,
been. I know Kojima's got his own company and stuff, but I know
right.
there's outside investors and things. I thought for sure
Yeah.
one of Bad Robot's people were involved with that, and I'm kind of wondering how that if that doesn't play into the video game comment here. But I don't know. You guys will let me know. But this is all well and good. Yay, JJ fails up just like the rest of them. But this is more telling, actually. And for those of you guys who don't know who Rooster Teeth is, they give a little accolade here, I think. Do they? Well, they got that Ruby and stuff like that, which was kind of successful. But this is an interesting article for me because when my kids were younger, you got to remember these Rooster Teeth guys. They are coming out of Funhouse, and then before Funhouse, it was something else. I can't remember what it was called, but it was back when Machinima was a
Mhm.
thing, right?
Right.
I'm pretty sure we did an article, well, nearly a year ago, talking about how Machinima is being basically torn apart and destroyed, right? But they were on Machinima, and those guys over there were fun. They were just young guys talking about video games, goofing off, being silly. It was fun, right? Doing reviews and stuff. And then they left Machinima because they could see the blood in the water, and they were right to do that. And of course, they went over and created the Rooster Teeth, and then I think Funhouse was after, or one or the other. But those guys are the ones who are the inception of that. And the funny thing for me was, my son loved that show. I can't remember what the show was called before they became Rooster Teeth Funhouse when they left Machinima, but whatever that Machinima show they had was, my son loved that. We used to watch that together, and he loved those guys in their video game reviews and stuff like that. But boy, did they get woke, man. I mean, they got way woke. Because if you go back and watch those old things, those guys were just dudes doing typical dude stuff, talking about tatas and all the other things that dudes do, right? Especially young dudes. And now there's this super ultra woke thing. It's like, boy, the skeletons they must have in their closet, dude.
Red versus blue.
Was it called that? No, I don't think so. I think it was something else. That's not catching my head.
Gotcha.
They had a thing
Yeah.
on Machinima though, and then of course I'm not sure if they became. I think they became Rooster Teeth first, and then it became Funhouse. Well, because somewhere along the
Mm.
line, Warner Brothers bought them, right? They got
Right.
financing, right? But
Yeah. And remember, and Warner Media deleted the whole channel.
oh yeah,
Um,
oh yeah,
yeah, a couple months ago.
Machinima,
So yeah.
yeah.
So.
Yeah,
It makes sense. It
yeah.
makes total sense. They're probably going to say offer that part of their streaming strategy. No longer can you get it for free on YouTube. Now
Hmm.
you have to pay us
Oh,
money to
right.
see things that was free already
Good
free.
point. Good point.
Yeah.
And that we know that that was part of the Machinima shutdown. We know that had something to
Hmm.
do with it. And of course, the big trouble with the Machinima shutdown is they basically stole a bunch of people's content, which was not cool, right? But for me, getting away from that bit of interesting connection there. I'm kind of curious of what we're seeing here with a 13% type of thing. Is this what we're going to see? Is it going to be like this certain, quartering of the entire business across the board? Or are we going to see
I'm
actual full cuts?
I think this is going to start out small,
Hmm.
and you're going to see a whole bunch of cuts consolidating
Hmm.
and being buried in the news kind of deal, like how Disney was doing with Fox, where they were cutting and cutting and cutting until as it progressed, if it's a redundant position, they're going to cut it
Oh, we knew they were
or
going to do that. Disney
or
does that all the
scuttle.
time. Yeah.
I know that I think, let me see, was it Nick who was asking earlier? Yeah, Nick was saying DC 2020, will the publishing division be closed down, and will the property be sold off? We were talking about that because the CEO of Warner Media wasn't talking about DC branding in the recent shareholding meeting, for the future of the company. Um, and there's been rumor from yesterday. We did talk briefly about it,
Uh-huh.
that AT&T could, potentially be looking to sell off DC, because we have these inklings, from Dan Didio saying about, not doing good
True.
stories, and a lot of the stories that are being sold are old issue stories, to Rob Liefeld saying that the whole storyline that's going on should be vaporized, and a lot of little smaller things that, if you kind of look at it individually, it doesn't mean much, but if you start looking at it as a whole,
Yeah.
you start seeing a pattern emerging that, you know, there are rumblings that,
Hmm.
you know, DC might be closed down. We had Vertical closed down. What's to say that DC doesn't close out either? Because as whether people want to realize it or not, DC is no longer a publishing house. DC is a brand that
It's
operates
true.
under AT&T now. It's a brand. If
It
you
is. Yeah.
don't look at DC and Marvel as publishing. They're no longer publishing. They have the facade of publishing. They are just name brands only. And at
Hmm.
any given time, at any whatever the money crunchers, the higher up says, it's time to scuttle it. They will scuttle it and license all of it out, or they will sell it by piecemeal.
Well,
And that's something we talked about
it
before
is,
as
and
well.
that's what it looks like AT&T is doing. Disney hasn't done that. No, Disney does housekeeping and stuff when they with Fox, and of course they do that. But what AT&T is doing looks like they bought Warner Brothers so that they could sell it off piecemeal and therefore make profit from the sale. So it looks like this is like a quick flip almost. It's weird, but that's what it
Right.
feels like, right?
Right,
Uh,
because TNT is communication, so they really don't care about this whole thing.
yeah.
And with this J.J. Abram exclusivity deal happening with Creative Control, I see this more and more certain that you're going to see some change over, especially since what I mentioned before, that it could be Disney owning a lot of DC into one
You
room,
never know, right?
and
It could.
yeah,
It could. Yeah. And that would be weird. That would be very weird. Hello, Rebel Gaming. But
yeah,
yeah, no, it's very interesting seeing what AT&T is doing, and I think these two articles and many of the other little comments that Dinale just went over, I think it's very interesting, and it'll be exciting to watch it. I really hope that DC does not get torn to pieces like Marvel did back in the what was that 90s,
right.
because it took quite a while for Disney to get a lot of it back, and that would be unfortunate. But JJ's kid can be the new head of DC Comics. Yeah, there you go,
You
Turtle Rabbit.
you
I
joke
think that's a good
you
idea.
joke you're joking about it, but remember they did have JJ's son start writing Spider-Man. So
Sure.
who's not to say that he's not already starting his internship to inherit
Yes.
those properties.
Yes. Yes. And just hopefully the kid hasn't watched his father climb the Matterhorn. Nevertheless, Nick says, if DC sells off, I got first dibs on
Right.
Red B, Star Hawkins,
Right.
and the original Robot Man with Robbie the Robot Dog. All right, dude. Hope you got a lot of money in your pocket. Eric says, Star Hawkins. What? Who is that? I want that character. Well, now they're fighting. Herod says DC has been a brand since the 70s. True. When
Yeah.
Time Warner bought them. True, true, true. DC Comics will remain. Maybe. I think that would be the default guess, but we don't know because Denali's right. There's been a lot of little comments and little rumors and things going around that it might not, dude. But nevertheless, very interesting group of stories we had here today, and some actual journalistic stories, which is interesting for us because we're usually just kind of, as the British say, taking the piss. But yeah, no, a little bit in depth there. And our other people didn't show back up. They were here earlier. I don't know what happened to them, but that's all right. You and I, so it always seems smoother anyway when it's just me and you.
Yeah.
Um, not that anyone isn't welcome. Everyone is welcome. Come in at any time. Please do. My link is down below. It's my Twitter. But anyway, guys, we appreciate you coming in and being part of what we're doing. Do keep in mind that tomorrow is our day off, and we'll come back with Fan Speak on the Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of course. And here in an hour, we do have the Fan Edition of Join a Quarter. Definitely come on for that because that's always a lot of fun. But beyond that, it's just so cool that so many people come in here and every day and join us. Denali, it's really cool thing, dude.
All right. And
Because
we like the comments as well.
we do,
So keep
yeah,
we do love engaging with you guys and getting your thoughts about it.
yeah, yeah,
Um so
absolutely.
and don't be afraid to jump up and we're all here.
Yeah, no,
We're all
definitely,
here,
definitely.
friends, to
But I
talk.
mean, it's just cool to me because we're nobody, dude. We're just fans up here pontificating on our opinions and having a laugh. But it's really cool you guys come and join us. It's a lot of fun. But thank you very much. I'll see you guys in an hour. But other than that, Denali, take us out of here, man.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for Comics 2 today. Join us at 10 p.m. Eastern for Drawn in Quarter Fan Edition. We're doing the World of Goma with Zach's creation. We did the interview with him a couple shows ago, so check that show out
Yes.
with Zach about his World of Goma, and join us with these fantastic artists who's going to be drawing his characters. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Join the Immortal Mask newsletter with the email down below. Just say, hey, I want to be in the newsletter, and I will put you in the newsletter. A lot of things are happening, and I'm having a lot of fun. I am, like I told Gary a couple weeks ago when I jumped on the show, the passion of creating fulfills it's taking a lot of my time, but I feel more fulfilled creating than
Yeah,
just consuming now. So
that
I've
is
reached
cool.
that stage
It is cool.
about that.
Yeah.
But as always, your perception shapes your reality. So always make it a good one.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Later, guys.
Aloha.